So before we start atomic structure, what I'm going to talk about here is a set of numbers. And you must remember them. They're not really hard. And this is all about electronic configuration. And the numbers you need to remember are 2, 8, 8, and 8. Okay. Now, and the other thing I'm going to say to you is, the things I'm going to teach you today are a lie. Okay? They've been simplified for you guys. And I'm not talking about you guys year 7. They've been simplified all the way up to Key Stage 4. Only in Key Stage 5 at A level do you get a real kind of understanding of the structure. But it's been simplified and it's pretty ace to do. Right? It's still very powerful. It's still very important. But it's been simplified. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to need 2 things. We're going to need the periodic table, Miss Hutton's periodic table. I really like that. I'm going to put it there. I'm just going to zoom it out so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to take the worksheet from last lesson. And whether you've finished it or not really isn't the issue. If you finished it, brilliant. If you haven't, brilliant. It doesn't matter. You will go. So I'm going to pretend you haven't finished it, right? And I'm going to go through oxygen. So these were my examples I gave you last time. And I'm just going to clear these out. And I'm going to do it step by step. So the first part is a lot to do with chemistry. The second part is physics. So in the first part here, we are asked to look at oxygen. See, that's a bit big. Oxygen. So I go to the periodic table and I find oxygen. Oxygen is over here in group 6. This is group 6. And I'm just going to take a snapshot so you have an image of it. And you know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to put it next to this. So here we are. It's a bit big. I'm going to make it really small so it fits right next to the work. There you go. So the first question it says is, I want the atomic number, right? The atomic number is the number at the bottom here. And you need to know that both for chemistry and physics. Oxygen is 8. The mass number at the top is 16. And we've been nice enough to give you that. The number of protons. Now I'm going to change colour here. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to change that black to protons. They sound like pink. Pink for protons. So 8 is our atomic number. The number of protons is going to be 8. You have to do nothing. Pink for protons. There's number 8. Your number of electrons is the same as the number of protons. So that's going to be 8 as well. So neutrons. What colour should I pick for neutrons? I don't know. Neutrons, neutral. Oh, let's go for blue. So to work out the number of neutrons, you take your mass number, 16, and I'm going to colour code this. So you do 16, and you take away your atomic number, which we did in pink, which is 8. 16 take away 8. So the number of neutrons we have is going to be, oh, let's pick a different colour for neutrons. Green, 8. This is a recap of what we did last lesson. But now we're going to draw this out. Now, as I said to you, the diagram I gave you yesterday on protons, this one is very common. You'll see it in lots of places. It is wrong. All right. How we're going to draw out oxygen is to remember 2 things. So first one is not me drawing it out, it's me giving you some information. The middle, let's change colour. The middle of my nucleus, I'm going to do this in black. The middle of my atom is a collection of particles. We'll look at which ones they are. This is in the middle. This is called the nucleus. God, my handwriting's disgusting. All right, that's the nucleus. That's absolutely vile. All right, so let me type that. I've got really bad handwriting on this. Let me just get rid of that. And let me just type that. Oh dear, that's a bit big. Whee! That's the nucleus. Okay, so there's the nucleus. Oh, so people wanting to come in. So that's the nucleus. Around the outside, and what's small and light. What do we do for electrons and protons? We did pink. So your electrons are around the outside. Okay. Inside your nucleus, you have protons and you have neutrons. Okay. So if I'm going to draw oxygen, I have got 8 neutrons. I used green for neutrons. So I'm going to write out 8 N's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've also got protons in pink. So I'm changing to pink. So the number of protons is pink. Is 8. So I'm going to write 8 P's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the nucleus of my atom, and we labelled it here in black. So I'm going to just say, there's my nucleus. I have done my nucleus. There's my nucleus. Okay, I'm just going to give myself some space. I'm going to move the work across a bit. All right. There we go. Now, electrons, I'm going to remove that black line because it makes kind of sense. Oopsie daisy. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, good. The electrons, which are in green, which are also in pink, are around the outside. Now you have got 8 electrons. So let's do them in pink. In the first orbit, you're right. What I'm going to do is my electrons are going to whiz around the outside. So I'm putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can't do that. That is wrong. This is called the first energy shell, or just the first shell. Right? You can only put 2 in the first shell. Doesn't matter how many electrons you've got, you can only put 2 in there. So what I'm going to do is delete everything. Well, oh no, not the circle. Delete that electron. Oopsie daisy. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Oh no, do you know what? I'm going to put another one around it. I like it on the other side. So you can only put 2 electrons in the first shell. That was where I said you need to remember these numbers. 2, 8, 8. Because you can only put 2 electrons in that shell, you've got to draw another shell. It's your second shell. And you can only put 2, let me change colour. You can only put 2 electrons in the first shell and 8 electrons in the second shell. I need a total of 8. So I've got 2 in my first shell. So in my second shell, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 add 2 is 8. And I am done. Okay. As much as I've done oxygen, you must start with oxygen. All right. Let's make this really big. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to use one of these. You have to start and do the. You must start with oxygen. This has lots of steps, and this is generally tough for students. Now, I've been talking about it for 9 minutes. I've taken my